Hi everyone, welcome to the day 11 series of WebDriver tutorial. And in the previous tutorial, we learned about how to automate the JavaScript standard alert, confirm, and prompt box. So we learn how to automate these dialog boxes, which are from the JavaScript. Today, we will be just continuing the session. So we have covered this part. Handling alert is done. Today we will be learning handling windows or handling frames. I will take, I think, first we can take handling frames, and then we can go with the windows. All right. So let's talk about frames. For those who don't know what is frame, okay. So frame is like web page inside another web page. So let me show you an example of a frame. Let's create a new HTML code. Okay, it's frames. Extension should be HTML because I want to write a HTML code. All right. So as we already learned, HTML has a basics tags like HTML, head. Head can have a title, I will just write title tag. Frames example / title. Then head, body. Then you can write some other tags inside a body. That's a closing of body tag and closing of HTML. So in body I will write h1. Okay, that is the heading one. Frames examples / closing of h1. There you can write some paragraph. Let's say I want to write some text. This is main web page. I will say main web page / paragraph closing. All right. And just below that I will write a iframe tag, iframe, iframe. So full form of iframe, it is internal frame. So this web page is having some frame, that way. So it has src is equal to. So I will give that src as our previous page. We already created one web page yesterday. So just copy the file name, or you can give complete path also. So that's my iframe tag. Can you see that? iframe batch3.html. This is my main web page. So that's it. This is the simplest web page. I have simple HTML code. So what I'm going to do is in this web page I'm just adding as a frame, and I'm adding the HTML which is coming from batch3 as a frame. Let's open and see how it looks. Okay, can you see that this is the h1? This is a main web page, and this main web page is having a iframe tag, and that iframe is actually coming up here. So that complete web page is displayed as a part of a web page. It's like a small frame. Now what I want to do is I want to perform click. Okay. Let's say I wanted to read this text. Okay, it's very easy. What we just do is let me create a project actually. Let me create a project. File new. Oops, sorry. File new Maven project, because we always use Maven. The name of Group ID is com.vikas.learning. Artifact ID is today's date, that is 14th Feb. Sorry, it is sorry. I will give D11 because it's a day 11 of driver, and there I will specify the topic name, that is frames handling. That's what we are learning today, right? So let's wait until the project gets created. All right, looks like the project is created. I will go to the old project of any old project and just copy these dependencies here. Close this one also. Come back to the project which I created. So this is the project which I created. Expand. In SRC test Java, we write test cases. So I'm going to write a test case. So the class name I want to give is frames handling example. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. The dependency tag should go in pom.xml. Go to pom.xml. There I will just add that dependencies, save it, wait for some time until that progress bar goes. Okay, it went, and come to the class. There I will write a test case, add the red test, control space, public void test case, switching to frame. Okay, I will need some initial code, that is system.setProperties, WebDriver.Chrome.driver, and the path to the Chrome driver, as well as WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver. The third line is for opening a URL. So just copy pasting it from old test case. Only the difference is going to be is this. Now the URL is this much. This is the new URL. I just now created a sample web page with a frames example. So driver.get, this is the URL I'm going to open. Now let's say I wanted to read the text of this paragraph, So if you want to read the text of this paragraph or this h1 tag, it's very easy. Just simply write driver.findElement by dot. I will use tag name because there is only one tag as a paragraph, right? There is only one tag on as a paragraph. And I will say get text. Okay, that text I'm storing. So that's the text from the main page. If you want assertion, you can add assert, assert equals. First thing we have to pass is the actual. This is my actual text. Expected text is the main web page. That text I want to say expected. Okay, text from the main page field. This is the message I'm displaying. If you want, you can actually confirm by running this test case whether it is running or not. So let's give a run. All right, so looks like the test case got executed. Come back here, see is it passed? Yes, it is. There is no error, and as you can see, the test case passed. That means actual and expected text got matched. Now what I will do is I want to go inside this frame and click on this click me. Okay, so many people think that just inspect the element, get the locator. In this case, the locator is value is equal to click me, or the on click alert equal to something that this you can use. So in my case, I will use input tag. So I will say driver dot find element by dot input by dot tag name. I will say find elements, right? Because there are multiple elements with the same tag name. Input dot get I will say get 0. Get 0, it means get the first button and click. Many people do this mistake, but this is wrong, guys. Let me show you by running the script. Okay, let's see. You can see that test case got failed. Reason is index 0, index and size 0. So what it says is the index out of bound. That means the find elements, you see this find element line, find elements return 0 element, and I'm trying to access the element at 0. So size is actually 0, and still you are trying to access the element which is at index position 0. So that is the reason it is giving me error. Guys, always remember one thing: if you are using find elements method, it will not throw no such element exception. Okay. If you are using find elements and if the element is not matching, then it will actually return you the empty list, the list with size 0. So this is the problem, that element is not getting found. The reason why is this happening? Because this button is inside a frame. Now how to find out it is inside a frame? Because sometimes just by looking into the web page, it doesn't tell me is it a really frame or not. So how to do that? Just read the tag, locate the tag, go to its parent, find out the parent. Parent is body. Body is again having HTML, and that HTML has a parent as iframe. So if you see iframe there, that means you need to switch into iframe, and then only you should be able to access it. So there is iframe. You can see that. See, this is body, iframe, and again HTML body. All right. So again, iframe has HTML tag. So if you see HTML tag with a parent as a iframe, that means we need to switch our WebDriver into that iframe and then do the job. Okay. So actually, you can change the size of that iframe also. Let me change it temporarily. Width equal to, let's say, 600. Okay. And let me set height also. Height, oops, equal to, let's say, 400. This is pixel. So I just temporarily change the size of the frame. So this is 600 width and 400 height. To make that permanent, you should change it in the original source code. So width is equal to 400, height equal to 400. Width equal to, I will make it 600. So that frame will look little bit bigger. Okay. So as I said, this is going to give you error saying that there is no element found. That means index 0, size 0, because that input tag is not present on the main page. That input tag is present inside a frame. So you should switch inside the frame. Now how to switch inside a frame? There are 3 ways. There are 3 ways to switch a frame. So I will tell you the first way. One, use a web element. Use web element. I will tell you how to switch a frame using a web element. So if you just inspect that web page, you view page source. So it has iframe. This is the iframe tag I want to inspect. I want to locate. Okay. So let's come here. Say inspect, and in inspect you see a body. Let's expand it. There is iframe. Can you guys tell me any locator which can actually locate this iframe? Guys, please reply me on chat window. I want to see if you can tell me any locator which can actually locate this iframe uniquely.
Started.
Okay, so I see few responses. As oops, as tag name iframe. Yeah, which is right. You can use the iframe as a tag to locate. So for example, I will say iframe. It is selecting that one of one element, or you can use that src only attribute. Any tag which has src attribute. You know, this is a CSS selector technique. So this is also working. Another locator you can write is you can specify src is equal to batch 003. Is it 03? Yeah, I guess. No, it's 03 dot html. Okay, so this is another locator. So there are actually, I wrote 3 locator. You can use any of these locator. Let's say if this iframe is having name, ID, or any other attribute, which can be used as a uniquely, please go ahead with that. There is absolutely no problem. So I will use, in my case, there is just only one iframe. I will use iframe as a tag name. So come back here. I'm saying driver dot switch to dot. This time I will say frame. Okay. So as I said, there are 3 ways to switch a frame. One way is you can pass index number. Another way is you can pass the name or ID of a frame. Okay, which is not there in my case. My frame do not have ID equal to something. Even my iframe tag do not have name equal to something. So I will skip this part. And there is one more part where you can actually pass web element object. So the very first thing you need to get the web element of that frame. So I'm saying web element frame element equal to driver dot find element by dot tag name. The tag name I'm going to give is iframe. That's the tag name I will give. Okay. So I got the frame element. Now it is very easy to switch on the frame. So I will say driver dot find element. Oh, I'm sorry. Driver dot switch to. It's a method, switch to is a method that returns object of target locator. And on the target locator object, I'm calling a method switch to frame. Yesterday we used this switch to alert. Today I'm using switch to frame and just pass on the frame element object. So this is the one line, you can actually use find the iframe tag, saying find element, give the locator, get the web element, pass on that web element to driver.switch2.frame, and this will work. Okay. So let me run the test case and see if the script is clicking on that first input button. Okay, can you see that pop-up alert message, with OK? That means my script, that means WebDriver switched from the main page inside the frame, and then in the frame it clicked on that first click me button. And that first click me button is actually showing you the alert message. As you can see, this is the click me button which is got clicked. All right. Come back to the program. There is no any error. The test case got executed successfully. All right. Any questions? Let me know if you have any questions. So this was the one way, you can actually find the web element and then switch. Let me tell you the second way. Second way is switch by name or ID. Switch by frame name or ID. So in that case, you need to find out the name or ID of your frame. So let's go here, inspect that frame. So this is the frame. Is this frame tag is having ID or name? Guys, is it having ID or name? No, it is not having any ID or name. So in my case, I cannot actually use this technique. But if you see ID or name to that frame, then just simply copy that name or ID, go to your code, and there simply write a code driver.switch to driver.switch to dot frame. Just pass on the name of your frame, name or ID of your frame. This is what you will write it here. So this is the way. I feel this is the most easiest way to switch a frame. Okay, this way is the most difficult. I will not say most difficult, but I will say it is more advanced, because here you can write actually any locator. You can write CSS selector. You can also write XPath or any locator for that matter. But this technique is only valid for name and ID. Okay. So this is the second approach, which I will just comment it. And let's talk about the third way. Third, switch by index number of frame index number, actually switch by frame index number. Okay, that's the third technique. So what I will do is, in that case, we simply write driver dot switch to dot frame, and there you have to pass on the index. So I'm giving index as 0. When I say index 0, that means it will switch to the first frame, and the first frame, it means the first frame from the body tag. Okay, let's say there are 3-4 iframes are there, then the first frame from the body tag will be considered as index number 0. So in my case, I switch to a frame. Before switching to a frame, I will print the HTML. So this is HTML before switching frame. Okay, and I will also print HTML after switching frame, just for your information, so that you will understand how that HTML differs. So I want to actually write SY. So driver dot, instead of SY, so now you can write, you can use a reporter of testng. So reporter dot log, pass on the message. The message I want to log is driver dot get page source, and I want this message to be printed on console, so I will pass true. Okay, so reporter dot log. So this reporter is actually coming from testng, and that's it. So I'm printing the HTML before switching, after switching, and after switching I'm clicking on that OK button. So let's run this test script and see how it works. Okay, you can see that alert message is shown. That means the click happened on this click me. Come back here, run that console in a full screen. See, HTML before switching frame. So before switching frame, this was the HTML. Okay, and after switching a frame, you see a big HTML actually that is coming from the yesterday's code. So I hope you guys are able to understand how that frame switching happens, and we have covered all the 3 ways to switch a frame. So go back to the program. Yeah, so the first way, the most advanced way, is get the web element of iframe, locate the iframe with any locator, and switch to that web element. Another option is you can pass name or ID if your frame is having name and ID. And third option is you can switch a frame by index number. I will not recommend to go with the index number. If the frame is having ID or name, unique ID or name, go with the second approach. If the frame is not having ID or name unique, then always go with this option. And let's say if you are not able to write any locator to locate that frame tag, then you can go with this third option, with the index number. But guys, index number is something that I will personally tell you to avoid, because let's say in future they add a new frame or remove some frame, then index number of all the frames will automatically change, even though they are adding only one frame or removing one frame still. Okay, there is a question from Shanawaz. If we have multiple frames, how to switch to or third frame? See, just look at the frame and switch, right? If you have multiple frames, just switch using. Is there any way to get the total frames in the DOM? That you can do it, right? It's very easy, right? Just say driver.find elements. You know, I actually use just a single locator. What you can do is you can say find elements. It will return list of web elements. Okay, I will give name as all frames. Let me import that list from jar. Not awt. It has to come from jar.util. Okay, and there I will say that frame tag, first get 0, get 1, and like that. But guys, I will not recommend this again. I'm telling you again and again, saying that you should be locating that iframe tag uniquely, get the element and pass on the element. That's the option I will suggest instead of using a list. But yeah, so this, if you call size method on this list, you will get the size of how many frames are there in your web page. Let's come back. Yeah, any other questions? If we have multiple frames, I think we covered that. If you have multiple frames, just uniquely locate that specific frame and switch to that frame. You can use name, you can use ID or something. Just say driver.find element frame and pass on that unique name or unique ID. That's one. Or you can write CSS selector, XPath, or any other locator. Get the web element and pass on the web element to switch. I will just remove that list code because personally I don't recommend using that list code. Yeah, just uniquely find that element and switch. Okay, perfect. So this completes switching of a frame. There are few things. For example, sometimes that frame may again contain a nested frame. So frame is again containing a nested frame. Let me tell you the example. Okay, I'm going to this yesterday's code. Actually, what I will do is I will just take a backup before I modify it, and then modify. Okay, at the end, I will write another iframe. src is equal to. I need some HTML, right? So let me get some sample HTML. I can do that, or I can write my own HTML. Let's go and take some sample HTML online, from W3 Schools. W3 Schools. I will say double click example. Let's say if I get anything. Oops, the problem is because of this %20. That's the URL encoding in HTML. Double click example. So guys, see, in W3 School it has very nice Trite editor. So to the left hand side you see HTML. To the right hand side you see the text. Okay, there is a JavaScript method return. Okay, the method is actually setting hello world, and this method is actually called when you double click on the paragraph. So just go to the paragraph, double click on the paragraph, and as soon as you double click, it will call my function. That my function is written here, and what this my function is going to do, my function will set the HTML set the inner HTML as hello world, and you see the inner HTML is set to the demo element. So that means the element which has ID as a demo. Right now it is blank. So if I double click on here, okay, somewhere here I will see hello world. See the example? Okay, I just double click and you see hello world. I will show you again. Say reload. Okay, I'm going to say double click on this element. Okay, and just below here you should be able to see hello world. Okay, it is done. So this is a simple HTML. I will just copy that. Okay, so dbl click.html. I will say HTML dbl click.html. Paste that HTML, save it. You know, this is the HTML I copied. Close it. Oops, sorry. And in you know in the yesterday's code, I'm just adding src is equal to dbl click.html. So it is like frame inside a frame, you know, nested frame slash I frame. Okay, you can give name to this frame. Let's say name is equal to ex. This is the name, and width, let's say 300 pixels. Not sure. Okay.
You will be prompted.
So the main page you see is it has the complete frame, and at the bottom of the nested frame is double click the paragraph to trigger the function. All right. So I wanted to actually do double click on here, you know. So I will also start with how to perform double click. So as you say double click, hello world should be displayed. Okay. So this is the scenario. So in our automation, what I will do is I will write another class to perform this automation. So nested frames example. Okay, there I'm going to write @test public void test case. All right. And what I will do is, you know, I will also write title to all the frames. So for see, this is the main title, you know, search page learn alert. I will see this is the web page ads frame 2. Okay, this page is added inside a third frame, so I will say head HTML head title frame 3 double click example slash title slash head. Okay, and let's say this is my main page. Okay, it has title as a frames example. So I will say main page frames example. All right. So let me copy paste the initial code. Okay. All right. Now here, what I want is, I want to switch in your, I will first print the title of my browser, you know, driver dot get page title, get title, sorry. Okay, I will print the title. Now I will switch inside the frame. So driver dot find element by dot tag name. There is only one iframe, right? So I will simply directly use iframe, and this is going to return me web element. That web element you need to pass to driver dot switch to dot frame, and there you have to pass the web element. So I'm saying this. Instead of writing 2 lines, I'm just doing both the thing on 1 line. So what will happen is, first this code will be executed. It will return the web element. That web element, the frame element, will be passed to the frame method. Okay. Once the frame switching is done, I will again print the title. Okay, you have to observe that what is happening with the title. Now what I will do is, I need to switch inside again another frame inside that, right? So driver dot find element. Oh, sorry, this time you don't have to find. You can simply say driver dot find element. Why I'm saying find element? Sorry. Okay, I will say driver dot. What was that? Driver dot switch to dot frames, and there you can specify frame name, right? Because our frame, we added a name to our frame, right? So what was the name of that frame? Name was double click ex, double click example. Copied that name, paste it here, and after that, just print the title. Driver dot get title. Okay, let me run this code and see these 3 titles. What are the different 3 titles are printed? What do you think, guys? Will it be the same or will it be the different title? Any random guesses? See, come back here, and what you see is the same title, even though you are switching a frame. So in older version of Selenium, it was actually giving you different titles, but this is fixed because even though you are inside a frame, but browser still has the same title. Okay, so it is going to return you the same browser title. It will not take the title which is there inside a frame. So always remember this point, guys. But in older version of Selenium, okay, it was actually returning you the title from the inside frame. So always make note of that. That's the one thing you should always remember. Now forget about title. I wanted to tell you, how to confirm that you are into this frame. So what I will say is, let's inspect this element. Let's find out locator. The locator it's a p tag. There are actually 2 p tags. I want to say a p tag which has on DBL click attribute. Okay, a p tag with DBL click attribute. So you can simply write a CSS driver.find element by.css selector. CSS selector, I'm saying p tag having attribute as double click. So this is going to give me web element. Let's call get text method on the web element. Get text. The text I'm returning is this. All right. So I located that element which is a p tag and having an attribute on DBL click. On that element I said get text. The text I'm printing it here. Let's run it. It should be quick though. Okay, test case got executed. Come back and see the text is right or not. So double click this paragraph to trigger a function. So that text I am able to read it. Okay, that means the element is found. I am able to read the text. That means I switch to the correct frame. Now what I will do is, right now I am at the third frame, right? Third nested frame. I wanted to go back to the parent frame. So to switch to a parent frame, driver dot switch to dot parent frame. If you say parent frame, this will go to the frame number 2. Frame number 2. That means the frame which is inside the main page. What is that frame number 2? That's alerts. All right. So if you say parent frame, but I don't want to go to the parent. What I want is, let's say I want to directly jump to the main web page. Okay, the main container page. So if you want to switch to the main container page, just say driver dot switch to dot default content will main web page. Is that clear, guys? If you say default content, that means driver will switch to the main web page instead of parent frame. Okay, I hope this is clear, and that's all from handling a frame. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. I think there is an error in code. What is that? Okay, there is no error, sorry. So this is all about handling a frame. Let's have a question and answer session. Okay, there is one question. How do we get the different title? You know, if you want to read the title of that respective frame, how to get that? So let's say at this moment, you know, I'm inside the frame label 3. So there I will say driver dot find element by dot tag name, and the tag name I will give is title. So on the tag name you just say call get text. You know, this is going to give you the text of that frame, the title of that frame, you know. But always remember, when you say driver dot get title, that means your browser's title, not the frame's title. If you want to take the frame's title, you can use this code driver dot find element by tag name title, and on that element say get title. Okay, but yeah, there is another question. Is iframe and subframe both are same? Yes, iframe and subframe both are same. Some people call iframe, some people say as a subframe. You know, there is no much difference. In HTML5, the normal frame tag is replaced with iframe. So iframe is from the HTML5 version, and iframe is used by everywhere. In the older version of HTML, like 1.1 or something, there was just a simple frame, and that was known as subframe. But you know, both are same. You know, there is no much difference.